What's cracking, YouTube family? It's your baby mama's favorite cousin T-Taw. And today I wanted to present an update to a video that I produced a while ago. And actually, I've been meaning to do this update for some time, but coming across this particular article that I'm putting on the screen now really gave me the inspiration to have this update done for you guys. And basically, this article talks about how Americans and, the trend moving globally don't necessarily, this is American women, Americans don't want to look like Kardashians anymore, which is an interesting conversation because in the video that I produced in terms of the Kardashian motif, which is a theme that I wrote into my book, The Seduction Scriptures, on page 111, in terms of the current trend in feminine aesthetic, the popular culture's feminine aesthetic. And that is where, in my book, I wrote about the Kardashian motif sort of sprung up. Now, this particular article goes into how women are opting for less exaggerated features in terms of cosmetic surgeries. And in my book, I go over a list of those particular features that really distinguish what the Kardashian motif looks like. And briefly, this is actually just coming from page 110 of the Seduction Scriptures. And basically, I say this: the hot Western and continuously expanding globally woman, the 10/Dyme, is one who for the most part has somewhat exaggerated and often enhanced features such as saucer-like and smoky brown eyes, pouty lips, airbrushed skin, a tapered waist, and a curvy to fat ass. Now, there is a new motif on the landscape, gentlemen, and just for anybody who's listening to this particular presentation, there is a new emergent motif that has risen in the ranks of popular culture, and we'll go over that in just a little bit. But the article basically highlights the rise of what's referred to as the gym girl, and even more specific, the popularity of female and male, but we're talking about females today, the female gymfluencer. Now, of course, there's a lot of talk that has been going on about what's appropriate and what's a bit risque in terms of women's gym attire. And me personally, where I land on that is I haven't honestly seen anything outlandish like, lingerie or bikinis or anything like that. But that's just been me and the gyms that I go to in Chicago. And basically I'm so focused that if somebody was half naked on the machine in front of me, my biggest concern was how many sets she has left. You know what I'm saying? Before I could get my workout in. But in any case, there is what I would refer to as the girl at the gym starter pack. Okay. So this is a meme that, one of many memes that are floating around in terms of this sort of gym girl aesthetic. And it has to do with certain movements that women mostly focus on. Obviously, the lower half with hip thrusts and glute raises, performance bands, the types of shoes that they tend to go for the gym, having this particular sort of outfit for the gym. So without further ado, gentlemen, I would like to go over what I would consider to be the top 5 looks that are sort of embodied in popular culture today. So we're going to go through what I would consider a 6, 7, 8, 9, and ultimately 10, which is something that I did in the previous video. Like I said, I'll link that one to this one. So without further ado, let us start with the 6. And at number 6, I have none other than Doja Cat. Now, of course, you have your copy of the Seduction scriptures. Why wouldn't you? I go over what these numbers represent because some people don't think that attributes and aesthetics should be qualified or can be quantified with a number. I, of course, disagree. But for those who would rather have a sort of descriptor to go along, I provide that in my book, The Seduction Scriptures. And for a 6, I consider that to be adjustable. Okay. She is one who has an adjustable look, who can dial it up or dial it down depending on the occasion. Okay. Next, we have at number 7, none other than Zazie Beetz. This particular aesthetic is what I refer to as the timeless beauty aesthetic. All right. Moving on, at number 8, the look for the 8, I put as Zendaya. Okay. So this particular aesthetic or type of beauty is what I would qualify as being a classic beauty. So right now for this generation, obviously Gen Z, I would say that Zendaya has the classical beauty aesthetic. Coming in at number 9, I have Anak Yai, who of course is a supermodel, and she is the representative for the 9 or the iconic look for Gen Z. Finally, without further ado, we have this generation's Dyme piece. This is, of course, according to yours truly, your baby mama's favorite cousin Tita, and the House of Technicians. We have none other than Lori Harvey. Now, when we talk about what the motif is for someone who embodies the Dyme piece position, I would say that her particular motif can be described as the following: baby hairs, smoldering eyes, dewy lips, equestrian rider / Pilates pilot physique, and her fashion sense can be described as approachable elegance. Now, it just so happens that she graces the cover of the revamp edition of Playboy magazine, which of course I have. It is definitely an American cultural classic. I think this particular issue was sold out at the time, but you can find some copies on some auction sites. So, gentlemen, let me know what you think. And for a more in-depth breakdown, the House of Technicians style, I'm going to leave a link to a full breakdown of Lori Harvey's 3-photo composite and a discussion of how I would position her on a roster. That link to the Patreon video will be in the description down below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know who you would put as 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 for Generation Z below in the comments. And as always, this is your man, Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, saying stay sharp and mission focused. Later.